Despite what many might have thought, single-player games continue to thrive at a rapid pace, with a number of new offerings in almost every genre that you can think of. This includes, but is not limited to, first-person games, where you have no shortage of underappreciated games that deserve to be loved by many more fans. To that end, we present 15 of the best single-player first-person games that you probably didn't play. System Shock Remake, 2023. System Shock is considered to be one of the most important games of its time, as it was one of the earliest pioneers of systemic game design applied in a first-person space. But even apart from that, System Shock is an impressive game with a gripping story and a detailed world, with plenty of lore to surround it all. Night Dive was hard at work on a full-fledged remake of the original, and System Shock Remake was finally released earlier this year to great reviews. It does a great job of modernizing this classic with plenty of clever design tricks and changes that make this experience a more digestible one for fans accustomed to modern first-person games. Ghost Runner. Developer One More Level's Ghost Runner was one of the biggest surprise hits of 2020, and a lot of that credit goes to the excellent one-hit, one-kill design that underpins every moment of the gameplay. You take control of a cybernetic ninja who comes back from the dead to settle an old score with the Keymaster, and the journey takes you through a bunch of increasingly complex levels that juggle fast and fluid parkour with satisfying combat. It's an incredibly fast-paced game with plenty of personality, and one that's definitely worth checking out if you haven't. Viewfinder. Developed by s.t.a.l.k.e.r Studios, Viewfinder is easily one of the most creative games in recent memory. The game tasks players to solve puzzle rooms by clicking images, placing them into the game world, and watching them magically become a new part of the level. The game starts out simply with easy puzzles, but it eventually ramps up in complexity as you delve deeper into the mind-bending adventure. The story might not be all that entertaining, but the fresh gameplay ideas and head-scratching puzzle designs are more than enough reason to keep going. The Entropy Center.
No, 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 no.
The Entropy Center is heavily inspired by Portal, and everything from its witty AI companion to general aesthetics is a strong reminder of those inspirations. But unlike Portal, the Entropy Center is all about manipulating time through the use of a titular weapon, and using that to solve puzzles, and eventually reverse the destruction of Earth. The characters are charming, and the puzzle designs constantly add new things to the mix, which makes for a surprisingly engaging experience from start to finish. Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. Machine Games delivered an excellent sequel in the form of 2017's Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus, which amped up everything that worked in the New Order up to 11. The first-person shooting is as chaotic as ever, with BJ Blazkowicz being able to dual-wield machine guns, and you can also use stealth to take down enemies and prevent reinforcements. Between the dynamic gameplay loop and varied mission locales, The New Colossus remains a thrill ride through and through. Rage 2. Rage 2 didn't have the best of critical reception upon launch due to its open-world design and weak plot, and while those issues are yet to be resolved, you can still have a lot of fun with Rage 2 provided you go in with the right mindset. You can juggle between shooting different guns and using special abilities, and all of that gameplay is extremely satisfying thanks to punchy sound effects and appropriately heavy music. Half-Life Alyx. Half-Life Alyx might not have been the Half-Life 3 that fans wanted, but this prequel is a worthy successor to the games that came before. Half-Life Alyx excellently translates the merits of the franchise into a new dimension, with better immersion and interactivity options. The story remains a gripping affair through and through, and the gameplay sequences make excellent use of VR's capabilities to craft interesting scenarios. Playing Half-Life Alyx would obviously require some expensive equipment, but if you happen to have that, the game is simply unmissable. Severed Steel. Severed Steel is all about dispatching enemies in absolute style while pulling off all sorts of acrobatic stunts. You can kick doors, run along walls, slow down time, and use other abilities while shooting guns to take down entire rooms of enemies in a few moments. Severed Steel's level designs and mechanics enable you to express yourself through your movements, and the sheer fluidity of it all makes it all that much more enjoyable. The art style might be primitive, but it actually helps in increasing enemy visibility, which becomes extremely important when you are blazing through levels at high speeds. Far Cry 6. While Far Cry 6 does not change the genre's formula in any significant ways, it's still a fun open world with plenty of merits to its name. The map of Yara is gargantuan in scope, and there's plenty of fun to be had in exploring its many corners and liberating enemy outposts while engaging with modern open world's signature systemic designs. While the story doesn't realize its full potential and the game suffers from the same cookie-cutter design seen in other open world games, the gameplay remains engaging enough from start to finish. s.t.a.l.k.e.r. Shadow of Chernobyl. Released way back in 2007, GSC game world s.t.a.l.k.e.r. Shadow of Chernobyl stands tall as one of the best post-apocalyptic games of all time. The open world of the exclusion zone is filled with different kinds of threats, ranging from factions ready to backstab you at any moment and mutants that can soak up your precious ammunition. It's a brutal game that requires players to be mindful of their actions and be ready to adapt to any situation. But it's also a deeply rewarding experience that should be experienced by fans of the genre. Ghostwire Tokyo. Ghostwire Tokyo transports you to a unique rendition of Tokyo where all of the city's denizens have vanished mysteriously, and all that roam the streets and alleys of the town are different kinds of weird yokai. The gameplay revolves around chaining different spells with one another to weaken the enemy's core before blasting them off with a swift strike. And while that gameplay loop starts to get repetitive after a while, the diverse amount of enemies on offer and compelling exploration gives you more than enough reason to keep playing until the credits roll. Shadow Warrior 3. Flying Wild Hog did an excellent job with Shadow Warrior 3 and created a game that's truly emblematic of the franchise's biggest strengths. Lo Wang is as charismatic as ever, and his quest of defeating an ancient dragon is filled with equal parts emotional moments and memorable set-piece fights. With a wide variety of weapons to choose from and an open-ended encounter design, Shadow Warrior 3 takes you on an unforgettable journey that ought to be experienced by fans of the franchise. The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. The Vanishing of Ethan Carter is a short game that will only take a couple of hours to beat, but it's also one of the most emotionally charged narratives that will stay with you long after the credits roll. The game tells the story of each member of the Carter family and what ultimately caused their death. While there aren't any combat encounters in this game, the varied scenarios that it puts you through will keep you glued to the edge of your seat for the entirety of its runtime. Dishonored 2. Dishonored 2 was rife with performance issues when it released, but now that those problems have been fixed, fans can enjoy this fantastic sequel without any hiccups. And what a game it is, right from the well-realized city of Karnica to the intricate level layouts and the many abilities that allow you to freely traverse through these enemy-infested spots. It's a highly replayable experience that shifts and morphs depending on your choices, and it stands tall as one of the best stealth games of the last generation.
You've trained with weapons formally, but you're not a salon fencer. There's a bit of back alley in your movements. All that, and you have your father's eyes, your imperial majesty. Welcome, Lady Emily.
Dying Light 2. Dying Light 2: Stay Human is an expansive post-apocalyptic RPG with oodles of content in a vast city of Velidor available for players to explore. Dying Light 2 also introduces a bunch of new mechanics, like the paraglider, which makes traversing through this carefully crafted space an absolute joy. The melee-based combat also gives you plenty of options when it comes to slashing through hordes of zombies, and combine that with plenty of refinements to the gameplay formula, and Dying Light 2 becomes a really tantalizing experience. And that brings us to the end of the video. A quick request: we upload new videos every single day, and if you like what we're doing, please consider subscribing. It really helps us out. Also, don't forget to enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon so that you can receive daily video updates. Thanks for watching.